Hello and welcome to the presentation associated with the 2022 Street Improvement Program. My name is Brian Bachmeyer. I am the city engineer for Oakdale, and joining me this afternoon is Todd Blank with Short Elliott Hendrickson. He is the project manager for the project. The purpose of this presentation is to review the need for our annual program, elements of a typical project, the process and policies associated with that project and program. Our annual program really has three objectives. One, it's safety. Two is to control maintenance costs. And three is to eliminate service barriers. Safety is important for bikers, walkers, and motorists that use our streets. Pavement condition is directly correlated to the safety of our streets. Control of maintenance costs. These neighborhoods that we've identified are spending a disproportionate share of our maintenance dollars maintaining those streets. In fact, those costs are increasing at an increasing rate every year, and patching is very inefficient. It costs 5 times more to patch a street than it does to pave a street. And the element service barrier, these neighborhoods are getting to the age where the pavement is becoming old and brittle, and as a result we're having to establish service restrictions in the spring of the year, limiting the weights of the vehicles that use the street to 5 tons or less. So if you have work that needs to be done on your home by contractors or materials delivered, there is a chance those materials will not be able to be delivered in the spring of the year due to the weight restrictions. The City of Oakdale does have a pavement management program where every year we go out and rate our streets, and we rank them on a scale of 1 to 100 to determine those areas where we have poor pavement conditions. These neighborhoods that we've identified have very poor to poor pavement conditions. So we have an annual program where we do about anywhere from 2 to 3 miles a year of street reconstruction. We have about 90 miles of city streets, so at 3 miles per year of streets, we're asking our streets to last close to 30 years. The streets in these neighborhoods are very close to the 30-year life of a typical street in Oakdale.
Next, you'll see some pictures of a recent similar project that was done. And this first picture is taken on Helmo Avenue south of 50th Street. You'll see the existing asphalt pavement has really seen its service life. You'll see the expensive, inefficient patching that public works crews have had to do by hand, which Brian referred to. There's different colors of that patching because it's had to be done year after year to keep that road in service. So in the next picture, at that same location after the project, you'll see brand new asphalt pavement in between the curb and gutter. And that's the main goal of this project, is to replace that old pavement section. There are some spot pieces on the existing curb and gutter that have been replaced, and there is a brand new city standard street light. So on the curb and gutter, we're not looking to replace every single piece that has a crack in it. We're after the more severely cracked pieces, or pieces that are settled so much that they're holding water, things that will start to affect the life of the street pavement. The street light that you see in this picture is the city's current standard for collector type streets and for commercial and industrial areas. So it's a 30-foot tall aluminum pole with a decorative pendant type fixture on the top. The next picture is taken in a residential area along Holly Avenue, and same type of street pavement that has really seen its life, severe cracking, areas of patching that have been done by hand. That same location after the project, again, the pavement replacement with brand new asphalt pavement, some pieces of curb that have been repaired, especially around the storm sewer catch basin structures, and the city's current standard street light for residential areas. This street light is a concrete pole with a decorative acorn type fixture on the top. It's about 13 feet tall, and again, this is an LED light. Next, we have some existing pictures of the Anna Grove neighborhood. So this first picture is on 31st Street Circle. You can see the severe cracking in the pavement and also many areas where the city has had to do the expensive hand patching that Brian was talking about. The next picture is on 31st Street Plaza, and more of the same severe cracks. This is a pavement that has really reached the end of its life, and it can't really be milled and overlaid with just a new top layer, but it needs to be replaced. And lastly, on 31st Street Place, looking to the east, again, the pavement is just worn out in between the existing curb and gutter, and you can see more areas of that patching by Public Works. So what are the proposed improvements? The proposed improvements are, like you saw in the pictures, replacing the asphalt pavement in between the curb and gutter, and then performing spot repairs on that curb and gutter. So before we replace that asphalt pavement, we want to make sure that all of the existing pipes underneath the street are in good condition. So the city is currently televising the storm sewer and sanitary sewer, and based on the results of that, there may be some spot repairs that have to be done. There's typically some fire hydrants and gate valves on the water main that are replaced with the project to bring them up to standard. Maybe some areas where there's been some operational problems in the past. There could be some sanitary sewer sealing of joints that needs to be done. That can be done underground without digging. But if there are any more severely settled or cracked pieces of pipes, those repairs will be made with this project before the new asphalt pavement is put in. We are looking at the entire storm sewer system. So we do want to hear if there's any problems with flooding during heavier rain events, or any other issues that property owners are observing on the storm sewer system. So there will likely be some repairs to some of those storm sewer catch basins. If necessary, we can add some catch basins to provide some additional capacity if there are flooding issues. And just looking at just bringing that whole system up to standards. So the locations where the storm sewer empties out into ponds or takes water from one pond to another, we will be looking at those flared end aprons and doing some repairs on those. A lot of times the sediment has accumulated in there, so this is a chance to get back there, remove some of the trees that have grown up around the pipe, and to remove some of that sediment in the ponds. Another goal of this project is to have a uniform, standard street lighting system. The poles in the neighborhood do meet the standards for the type of pole. However, the fixtures themselves are older incandescent units. We are proposing to replace those with newer, more efficient LED units, and also to replace the cabinet that provides power to the system. We'll be looking also at the street signs and making sure that they meet standards for retroreflectivity so that they're bright enough and can be seen properly. So there will likely be some street signing replacement, street name signs, and then also the street signs, the stop signs and curb signs, speed limit signs, those types of things. And lastly, in addition to the city's pipes underground, there is also private utility pipes that are located underground in the project area. Some of these are in the street, some of these are in the boulevard area. The city is in contact with the gas company, the electric company, phone and cable companies to make sure that they're aware of these proposed improvements and to ask them if they have any repairs or upgrades to do, that they plan for those so that they can be done with this project. So there will also be some private utility improvements done by those companies during this project. What will you expect to see during construction? So during the construction process, the city will hire a contractor The project will go out for bids, and the city is bound by law to hire the lowest responsible bidder. So we will have a prime contractor out there that has done similar type of work, and they will be the lowest bid. They will have a number of subcontractors to do some of the work. So one of the first things that will be done is the pavement will be reclaimed. So you'll see a big asphalt reclaiming machine with diamond teeth on it, and it'll come and it will reclaim that existing asphalt pavement and turn that into gravel. That gravel can be recycled or reused on the project if necessary. After that, the grading crew will come in and they'll remove the top 3.5 inches of gravel to make room for that new asphalt pavement section. At the same time, there will be another contractor in, a concrete subcontractor in to do the curb repairs. So the spot repairs on some of the most severely cracked or settled curb. Some of the existing curb to be replaced will be in front of driveways. In order to best match in, the contractor will need to remove a small portion and patch back in an area behind that curb on the existing driveway. In this case, the contractor will provide advance notice to the property owner so that arrangements can be made for parking while the concrete cures and gains strength. This usually takes approximately 1 week. There will be utility repairs, so there will be a pipe crew that will be hired, taking care of any needs on the city's sanitary sewer, water main, and storm sewer. And then also, as we mentioned, there'll be some private utility companies. So sometimes the gas company comes in and has to replace their gas system, or there might be some spot repairs on some of the cabinets or transformers. So there will be other crews in there doing that type of work. After all of that work is done, then the first layer of asphalt will be paved. We call that the base course, and that will be paved. At that point, it will not be a gravel road anymore, but a paved roadway. After that pavement is installed, then the castings in the street will be adjusted to their final elevation. So the manholes and water valves will be brought up to their final grade. And then the boulevards can be restored. So anything that was disturbed with the street lighting or anything that is in back of some curb and gutter replacement, the city will be putting in new topsoil and sod in those areas. The private utilities are responsible for their own boulevard restoration. So any areas disturbed by the gas, electric, phone companies, they will be doing their own topsoil and grass restoration. A lot of times they use seeding for that instead of sod. After all of that is done, then the final layer of asphalt is paved, and at that point the project is complete. So during construction, access will be provided to all properties on a continuous basis. However, if there is a piece of pipe right in front of a driveway that has to be replaced, or if the concrete driveway apron has to be replaced, then there will be a time that access into the driveway will not be possible. The contractor will provide notice ahead of time and alternative arrangements can be made. Mail delivery will continue throughout the project. But we do also want to hear from property owners on any events that you have planned. So if you have garage sales or graduations, open houses, any other events like that, you can notify us ahead of time and we'll work with the contractor to provide the best access and clean that up as much as possible before that event. The city has standard allowable working hours, so Monday through Friday, that is 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and then on Saturdays, it's 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Contractors don't always work Saturdays, but sometimes they need to stay on schedule. So no work is allowed outside of those hours unless it's an emergency. And then lastly, the city will have representatives out on site during the project. These will be resources for you, any issues, questions, problems that you have. And they're also out there making sure that the project is built properly and correctly. The proposed schedule starts with sharing information, which we are doing now. We are currently studying the project and will present those findings to the City Council in a report in December. If the Council moves forward, they will schedule the public hearings for January. These public hearings are important because that's the opportunity for the property owners to provide testimony to the City Council on both the proposed improvements and the proposed project assessments. After that, if the project continues to move forward, we would prepare construction plans and bring those back to the council in March for approval. We would then obtain bids and come back in April for a contract to be awarded to the low bidder. The project would then be ready to start sometime in May and would start with the first phase. There will be multiple phases, and all the construction is proposed to be completed by the end of August.
The estimated cost of the project is $1,070,000. The city is financing 67% of the improvement costs, or about $712,000 of that amount. The balance of the improvements are paid for with special assessments to the abutting property owners. What that assessment represents is the cost to remove and replace asphalt on a minimum standard street based on construction costs from 2002. The lots within Anna's Grove all meet the minimum lot width requirement for an R2 zoning district, which is 80 feet. So the assessment is determined by the frontage cost times 80 feet. The city does have to comply with the state statute requirement that the assessment cannot exceed the increase in market value to the property before and after the improvements. Property owners typically do ask, well, I'm paying property taxes. Where are my tax dollars going? And why am I being assessed for these improvements? As an example, a $250,000 valued home pays approximately $911 to the city. Of that amount, about $170 goes to public works, and of that amount, $55 goes towards street maintenance. A special assessment is defined as a loan that is spread over a 10-year period with the 4% interest rate starting to accrue on October 15th of 2022. The assessments can be prepaid without any interest up until that date of October 15th of 2022. If you do not pay, it will be certified to your property taxes and collected starting in May of 2023.
Hardship deferral applications that if you meet those criteria, you may be eligible for a hardship deferral. If that's the case, contact with our finance director would be advised.
Great.
Thank you for listening to this presentation. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me directly. My contact information is as follows. Thank you.